Pups, it's Miss Massey. So we are continuing our bullying lessons, and today we are going to talk about recognizing bullying and responding to online bullying. In this first part of our lesson, you will learn about how being bullied affects people and how to tell the difference between bullying and joking around. But first, I want you to think about yesterday's lesson. What did we talk about yesterday? Hopefully you remember, we talked about the different kinds of bullying, that it's intentional and it can be physical, verbal, or social aggression. It's often repeated over time and occurs when there is a real or perceived power imbalance. So we're not going to write this, we're just going to have a discussion. Bullying comes in different forms and it can be hard to recognize, especially when it happens between friends. So here's our scenario. Micah is constantly making jokes about Jaren, and everybody laughs, including Jaren. What is Micah doing? Is it bullying, joking around, or is it unclear? So let's pull up the definition of bullying just to remind ourselves. Bullying is behavior that is intentional, is aggressive, is repeated, and remember there's a power imbalance. So I want you to look back at the scenario. We have Micah who is constantly making jokes about his friend, and everybody's laughing. It's not always obvious whether the situation is bullying or not, but it's important to remember that even if an action isn't bullying, it can still be hurtful. So we really don't have enough information. It's unclear. We don't know whether it's bullying or joking around. We would need to know if Micah's behavior is intentional or aggressive, or if there's a power imbalance. I would also want to know, is Jaren just laughing because everybody else is and he doesn't want to feel embarrassed? Or is it really actually hurting his feelings and he doesn't like it? So if you remember coming out to my room last month, we talked about how sometimes friends joke around, but they don't know that it hurts your feelings or you don't like it if you don't tell them. So that's where you need to stand up for yourself and use your voice in communication and tell your friends if they don't like it. And if they stop, then they're going to be a good friend. But if they continue, then that turns into bullying. Okay, so now we are going to kind of do a partner activity. We're not going to write anything. I just want to discuss. So I'll give you 5 seconds to have a partner that you are sitting next to. Teachers, push play when you are ready. Okay, so bullying can affect people in many ways. Let's look at 2 scenarios that can help us think about the difference between bullying and joking around. So here's our first scenario. Zach tells the whole class that Mariah has a crush on a TV character. They all laugh at her. So is this an example of bullying or joking around? What do you think will be the effect on Mariah? So I want you to pause the video and discuss with your partner what you think about this scenario, and then push play to continue. Okay, so we don't know if this is bullying or joking around because we don't have enough information. It's not a nice thing to do, but Mariah might feel embarrassed. So we would need to know more of what Mariah was feeling so we could then know if it's joking or bullying. Let's go on to our next scenario. Every day, Angela and Bo take John's phone. They think it's funny when he gets upset. Is this an example of bullying or joking around? What effect do you think it will have on John? So teachers again pause and give partner time to discuss this scenario and then push play to continue. So this is an example of bullying because Angela and Bo's behavior is physically aggressive. They're taking John's property on purpose. It's also a repeated behavior, and there's a power imbalance of the 2 against 1. John might not want to come to class anymore if this continues. So do you see the difference between the two scenarios and how this first situation, it could be joking around depending on how Mariah is feeling and if she's joking around with them or not. Whereas this one, they are physically taking somebody else's property and basically kind of like playing keep away, and they want to get him upset. That is definitely bullying. So again, as a class, I would like you to discuss this. Sometimes bullying is hard to recognize. How can you tell if something crosses the line from joking to bullying? So teachers, please pause and have a class discussion for a minute or two, and then push play to continue. Okay, so this week I want you to pay attention when people at school are joking around. Think about how to tell the difference between joking around and bullying. So remember, sometimes it can be confusing and it can be hard to tell, but I want you to think about the different clues to show you if it's joking around or if it's bullying. Okay, so now we are going to be talking about responding to online bullying. So in this part of the lesson, you will learn some ways to respond to bullying that happens online. Again, we're not writing, we're just discussing. I want you to think about how is bullying that happens online similar to bullying that happens in person? How is it different? So teachers, please pause and have a quick discussion over how bullying online is similar in person and how it's different than in person. And then push play to continue. Online bullying is just as harmful as other types of bullying. It has negative effects, not just on the person being bullied, but also on the whole school community. Where online do you see bullying happen most often? I bet a lot of you have said or you're thinking about social media and TikTok, which is social media. But there's lots of different social media platforms, maybe even comment sections on videos. So online bullying is the use of technology to harass, threaten, or intimidate another person. Bullying can happen in a lot of ways online, and its effects are very real. In this lesson, you'll learn more about those effects and how you can respond to them. So as we've talked about, online bullying affects a lot on students. So what can you do if you experience online bullying or witness it happening to someone else? Here are 6 ways you can respond to it. Okay, so you can block them. Block the person doing the bullying from seeing your posts. Don't get revenge. People who bully want a reaction. If you try to get revenge, you could contribute to the bullying. Document. Download and save or print evidence of the online bullying right away before it can be deleted. Don't share. If you like or share a social media post intended to harm someone, you are participating in the online bullying. Support. Offer support to the person being bullied instead of getting involved in the conflict. Listen to their experience, ask what they need, or offer to help them make a plan for responding. Report. Report online bullying to a trusted adult such as your parents or a teacher. So now you have 6 ways that you can deal with online bullying. So have you used any of these strategies? Do you know somebody who's used these strategies? Have you seen online bullying? Teachers, pause and maybe have a class discussion for just a minute or two, and then push play to continue. Okay, so now let's practice putting these strategies into action. So again, I'm going to read the scenario and let's just do a class discussion. You can pause after I read the scenario and discuss the answers as a class. So Audrey didn't invite Lena to her party. So Lena made a social media page called Why I Hate Audrey and had their classmates added to it. So I want you to discuss 2 ways Audrey could respond and 2 ways Audrey's classmates could respond. So have a class discussion for a couple minutes and then push play to continue. Okay, so why is it difficult but important to report online bullying to a trusted adult? I want you to think about that. Why is it difficult but important to report bullying? I want you to keep these strategies that we talked about on your mind all week. And if you encounter online bullying through text messages, Messenger, Snapchat, TikTok, whatever it is that you're doing with technology, I want you to take one of those strategies and I want you to be able to report it. Stand up for yourself, stand up for your friends. Because, like we've talked about all week, bullying can have big effects, not just on the person who's being bullied, but also the community as a whole. So our next lesson is going to be talking about ways to stand up to bullying. So that's what we will do tomorrow, and that will finish our lessons for the week for bullying. Thank you for listening to today's lesson, and I hope you guys have learned some ways that you can, be an upstander and stop bullying that you see, whether it's online or it's in person. I'll see you later. Bye.